Today, let's talk about stroke. Stroke, it is absolutely not a sudden, unexpected accident before that fatal thrombus completely blocks off the blood vessel in your brain, or before that fragile vessel wall bursts like a balloon that's been stretched too far. Your body has actually been screaming for help. It's been sending you countless warning signals for years, desperately with everything it has. And here's what's even more terrifying. What we're now seeing in emergency rooms and neurology clinics is that the people who end up being targeted by stroke aren't necessarily unlucky. It's that this silent killer, and I don't use that word lightly, actively seeks out people who have specific everyday bad habits. A lot of our parents and grandparents grew up with habits they consider normal, even completely reasonable, but some of these daily routines and food preferences, they're basically actively inviting death. They are taking our blood vessels, which should be wonderfully elastic and flexible, and pushing them step by step toward hardening, brittleness, and blockages straight toward the edge of a cliff. Coming up, I'm going to lay out for you completely clearly the five deadliest daily habits that put you directly in stroke's crosshairs. These are habits you absolutely must change. This is about protecting your dignity and your quality of life in your later years. Your brain, the demanding diva that needs protection. Before we reveal those five deadly habits, I want to make sure you understand the relationship between your body and your blood vessels. Your brain is the most delicate, most high maintenance organ in your entire body. It absolutely cannot tolerate being cut off from its supply. Even though it only makes up about 2% of our total body weight, it consumes a full 20% of all the oxygen and blood we have. Do you know what that tells us? It tells us that your brain cannot survive, not even for a minute, without a steady, reliable supply of blood. So I want you to picture your entire cardiovascular system like the water pipe network running underneath a city. Your heart is that powerful pumping station. Your blood vessels are all the pipes carrying water to where it needs to go. When we're young, those pipes are like brand new rubber hoses. They're soft, they're flexible, and blood flows through them completely smoothly with zero resistance. But as we get older, once we cross that 50 or 60-year mark, and when we add in the destructive effects of the bad habits we're about to discuss, what happens to those nice soft rubber hoses? They slowly start to rust. They age. In medicine, we call this atherosclerosis. On the inside of your vessel walls, thick gunk starts to slowly pile up. Kind of like the hard water scale you see building up inside old pipes. That gunk is made of cholesterol, fats, and inflammatory particles from your body. We call it plaque. Now, blood vessels loaded with this plaque lead to two absolutely terrifying consequences. Scenario number one, the pipe gets narrow. Blood can't flow through anymore, and your brain slowly starts to starve. Then one day that plaque suddenly ruptures. Your body, trying to be helpful, sends platelets rushing over to repair the damage. But they actually make things worse. Instantly, they form a clot. Medically, we call this a thrombus. This clot completely blocks off that already narrow channel. Behind it, the brain tissue is instantly starved of oxygen and nutrients. Within minutes, massive numbers of brain cells die. This is what we call an ischemic stroke. Most people know it as a clot stroke or cerebral infarction. Scenario number two is even more devastating. The vessel wall itself becomes brittle. Like an old plastic pipe that snaps the moment you bend it, it absolutely cannot withstand high pressure. If your blood pressure suddenly spikes, that fragile vessel in your brain goes, well, boom, it bursts open, directly spilling blood into your brain tissue, crushing and compressing nerves. This is a hemorrhagic stroke with an extremely high mortality rate. Most people know this as a brain bleed. So, my friends, do you understand now? A stroke is never some sudden punishment from the universe. It is your blood vessels, after years and years of accumulated abuse, sending out one final, desperate, catastrophic signal of giving out. And the things that have been torturing your blood vessels day after day, those are exactly the five extremely deadly habits we're about to expose. The first deadly habit, the morning mad dash and unprotected cold exposure. The first bad habit is getting up too quickly in the morning and exposing yourself to cold without any protection. A lot of people in their 50s, 60s, and beyond wake up around 4 or 5 in the morning. Maybe they're thinking about getting to the park for their exercise. Maybe they suddenly feel that urgent need to use the bathroom. Eyes pop open, and in one swift motion, they throw off that warm comforter, do a kind of quick sit up, shoot straight up out of bed, swing their legs out, and their feet hit the floor right into their slippers, heading straight for the bathroom. And in the winter, when it's cold out, sometimes they don't even bother grabbing a robe. They walk into that freezing cold bathroom with their neck totally exposed to the cold air. My friends, if you are still maintaining this kind of clean, quick, efficient morning routine, please stop doing this immediately. You might feel like you're being agile, showing you're still quick on your feet, but from where I sit, from a medical standpoint, you are taking an invisible sledgehammer and swinging it with full force at the blood vessels in your brain. Why is it this serious? It comes down to something in cardiovascular medicine that we refer to with a chilling name. We call it the devil's morning surge. Your body has been lying flat all night, sleeping. Your blood pressure is at its lowest, most stable point of the entire day. But the instant you wake up in the morning, your body has to switch from dormant sleep mode to active flight mode. Your sympathetic nervous system kicks into extreme high gear. Your body floods itself with adrenaline. Right at this moment, your blood pressure naturally undergoes a rapid, steep spike. Please note your blood pressure is already rising sharply. Now, on top of this, if you then suddenly stand up, what happens? Because of gravity, blood instantly pools down in your legs. Your heart looks up and sees, oh no, the brain is about to lose blood supply. So, to make sure blood flow to your brain, your heart starts pumping with everything it has, forcing blood back up with massive force. This pushes your blood pressure to an extremely dangerous peak. And here's the part that's even more terrifying. What is getting exposed to cold? Early morning is the coldest part of the entire day. When you emerge from your warm bed, that cold air hits your completely unprotected skin, especially the back of your neck where major blood vessels run close to the surface. Every tiny blood vessel in your body constricts violently and instantly because of the cold. Now, picture this image in your head. You have the natural morning surge plus the gravitational compensation from standing up quickly, plus the violent blood vessel constriction caused by the cold. These three terrifying forces combined, your blood pressure can go from a calm, stable 120 to a volcanic eruption, spiking to 180 or even over 200 in just a few seconds. If you happen to have a silent, fragile plaque sitting in a blood vessel in your brain, or if your vessel walls have already become thin and brittle with age, when that terrifying tsunami of pressure hits, that plaque can be ruptured, instantly triggering a clot, or the vessel itself can burst straight open. Countless tragedies happen in those first few minutes after waking up in that first few minutes window. So let me share with you a stroke prevention golden 3-minute rule for waking up in the morning. After you wake up, do not move quickly. The first minute, stay lying flat in bed, eyes open, just let your body wake up a little bit. The second minute, slowly sit up, leaning against the headboard. Wait another minute. The third minute, swing your legs over the side of the bed and sit there, feet dangling, for a full minute. Then, and only then, stand up slowly. And if the weather is cold, please make sure you keep a warm robe or jacket right next to your bed. Put it on before you even get out of bed. Do not let your neck or your body directly hit that cold air. Slow down, slower. These 3 short minutes are minutes that can save your life. The second deadly habit, heavy salt and drinking the pot liquor. The second bad habit is heavy salt consumption and regularly drinking the leftover sauce and broth from your plates. This is deadly habit number 2. A lot of people love to take a big scoop of white rice and pour a generous amount of that dark, shiny, oily meat juice or gravy right over the top. When they eat vegetables, they feel like it's bland unless they drench it in thick soy sauce to make it appetizing. And here's something I see older folks do all the time. They finish a dish of food, and at the bottom of the plate, there's all that leftover sauce, those juices. They look at it and think, that's the rich part. That's the heart of the whole dish. It would be such a waste to throw it away. So they pick up the plate and pour it right into their rice bowl and mix it in, or they just drink it straight. If this is you, if this is your spouse and you're still keeping this habit, you must change it, because what you are drinking is absolutely not the liquid gold. What you are drinking is a highly concentrated poison that directly drives your blood pressure out of control with devastating consequences. And the ranking of stroke risk factors, high blood pressure or hypertension, is absolutely the number one culprit, the primary cause. And what is the most direct, most relentless driver of high blood pressure? Sodium, salt. When you consume large amounts of these heavy, salty sauces and broths, your bloodstream gets flooded with an extremely high concentration of sodium ions. Sodium ions have a very aggressive property in physics. They act like a super sponge. They grab onto water in your body and hold it tight, trapping it inside your blood vessels. Now you have more water in your vessels. The total volume of your blood expands. Imagine a pipe designed to hold 100 milliliters of water. Now you are forcing 150 milliliters of water through it. What happens? The inner walls of that pipe experience tremendous pressure. Your blood pressure becomes like an overinflated tire, constantly on the verge of exploding. And it gets worse. High concentrations of salt don't just increase blood pressure. They also act directly like sandpaper. scraping and damaging the delicate endothelial cells lining your blood vessels. Once those endothelial cells are damaged, cholesterol from your blood can sneak in and start forming artery, clogging plaque even faster. This is the classic double assault of high pressure plus blockages. I also hear from some patients, but doctor, I use very little salt when I cook. How can my blood pressure still be high? Remember, salt isn't just the white crystals you can see, it's hiding everywhere. It's in soy sauce, it's in black vinegar, it's in bean pastes, it's in barbecue sauce, and yes, it's in that leftover broth you can't bear to throw away. Restaurant soups are a huge hidden source to make them taste good. A single bowl of soup can contain more sodium than you need for an entire day. So here's my advice starting with your very next meal. Please cut way back on salt. Do not use that meat juice or gravy to mix with your rice anymore. When you eat your food, just take the solid food. The liquid at the bottom of the plate, you have to be ruthless, pour it down the sink. Cut way back on processed meats, and if you feel like food is bland, use natural flavorings like garlic, ginger, scallions, or lemon. Protect your blood vessels. It starts with saying no to that extra spoonful of salt. And no to that last sip of sauce, the third deadly habit, avoiding water to skip bathroom trips, creating sludgy blood. The third bad habit is being afraid of running to the bathroom, so you don't drink enough water. And the result is that your blood becomes thick and sludgy. As we get older, have you noticed that a lot of us just stop drinking water? People tell me all the time, it's not that I don't want to drink, I just never feel thirsty. Or they say, the moment I drink even a little more water, I have to run to the bathroom constantly. If I go to the park, if I take the bus, if I go on a trip with friends, finding a bathroom is such a hassle and nighttime is the worst. If I drink before bed, I'm up 3 or 4 times. I can't sleep, so I just drink as little as possible, maybe just enough to wet my lips. My friends, if you are also maintaining this mindset of rather not drinking just enough to avoid urinating, you must change this because you are taking the clear, flowing river inside your body and slowly, steadily boiling it down into a thick, sticky, foul smelling mud. Here's why. As we age, the nerve endings in our body actually start to degenerate a bit. That includes our thirst center. It becomes much less sensitive. By the time you actually feel that dry mouth sensation, that urgent signal that you need water, your body has already been in a serious state of dehydration, a red alert condition. Water is the main component of your blood. When you go all day only drinking a cup or two, or if you're thinking that tea counts as water, tea actually has a diuretic effect, causing your body to lose even more fluid. Your body starts to pull water from your bloodstream to keep your other organs functioning. The water in your blood vessels gets drained away. What's left behind is blood that becomes extremely thick and concentrated. Think about cooking a pot of black sesame paste. The longer it simmers, the more water evaporates, and the thicker and stickier that paste becomes, harder and harder to stir. In this thick blood state, something terrifying happens. Blood flow slows down dramatically. It becomes sluggish, especially in areas where vessels are already a little narrow or at branching points like where your carotid artery splits in your neck. Blood flow can nearly come to a halt. The red blood cells and platelets in your blood, once they stagnate, start to act like magnets. They stick tightly to each other, rapidly forming a terrifying clot, a blood clot. Then all it takes is for you to move a little or for your blood pressure to fluctuate slightly, and that clot breaks loose. It travels along, moving slowly through that thick blood, but it's relentless and unstoppable, heading toward your brain. Eventually, it gets lodged in the narrowest part of a brain vessel, and just like that, a massive stroke happens because you were afraid of going to the bathroom holding in your urine, not drinking. Especially in the summer when you're sitting in air-conditioned dry rooms for long periods, your blood gets thick to an extreme, and clots form right there in the brain. I have seen too many tragic cases like this. My friends, plain water is the cheapest, most effective natural blood thinner and clot preventer on this planet. You absolutely must develop the habit of drinking water regularly and consistently. Do not wait until you're thirsty to drink. First thing, every single morning, drink a glass of warm plain water. I call this the lifesaver water. It dilutes the blood that has naturally thickened and concentrated overnight. During the day, even if you're just watching television at home, keep a water bottle next to you. Take a couple of sips every half hour. When you go out, bring a thermos with you. And here's the simplest way to tell, the easiest way to tell if you're drinking enough. If the color of your urine is dark yellow, that is your blood vessels screaming for help. Your blood is too thick. Only when your urine is a clear, pale yellow are your blood vessels truly safe. The fourth deadly habit, emotional volcanoes triggering vascular earthquakes. The fourth bad habit is violent emotional fluctuations triggering a massive vascular earthquake. This is also an extremely common and devastating trigger for acute strokes. I call it deadly habit number 4. Many of us, as we get older, can sometimes become a little like children in terms of our emotions. We can become easily stimulated by things around us. Maybe you're watching the news and you see something that just makes your blood boil. You find yourself yelling at the television, your hands are shaking. Maybe you're dealing with the grandkids or having a disagreement with your spouse over some small everyday thing, like who forgot to turn off the light or whether someone paid a little too much for vegetables. The argument escalates, voices rise, and you feel that rush of blood, that surge slamming into your head. Your neck turns red, or maybe it's the opposite. You're playing cards and you win a big hand, or you're watching the stock market and one of your investments suddenly skyrockets. You're overcome with excitement, jumping up, my friends. If you have a tendency toward these big emotional swings, if you easily get angry, deeply sad, or even intensely excited, please let's talk about this, because every single time you have one of these episodes, you are putting your brain's blood vessels through an extreme brutal stress test every single year. Emergency rooms see countless patients who had a massive stroke right after a big fight, or even after an intensely happy event. The numbers are staggering. What's actually happening inside? We talked earlier about the devil's morning surge, and emotional fluctuation is like that. But it triggers an even more violent sympathetic nervous system storm. When you become extremely angry, agitated, or wildly excited, your brain thinks you're facing a real crisis. It's like you're being chased by a tiger. To deal with this perceived threat, your brain instantly orders your body to floods massive amounts of adrenaline and noradrenaline into your bloodstream. Once these hormones hit your blood, they have two direct and absolutely terrifying consequences. First, your heart rate instantly skyrockets. Your heart starts slamming against your chest, pumping blood like crazy. Second, and this is critical, all your blood vessels, especially the ones in your brain and cardiovascular system, go into a violent constriction and spasm. Now, picture this extremely terrifying scenario inside your body. You have old, aging pipes already stiff and lined with unstable plaque. Suddenly, an invisible giant hand violently squeezes those pipes tight. At the exact same moment, the pressure of the blood inside them is blasting upward with 10 times the normal force. This violent squeezing from the outside and this massive pressure from the inside crush those unstable plaques. The plaques rupture. They tear open, the fatty contents and inflammatory particles spill out, and within seconds, a massive clot forms, blocking the vessel, or that already brittle vessel wall simply cannot withstand this terrifying explosive force. It bursts right then and there. Boom, a brain bleed. That's why someone can be in the middle of a shouting match, suddenly yell out in pain, clutch their head, and collapse unconscious, never to be the same again, all because they couldn't swallow their pride. They traded a moment of anger for the rest of their life. Traditional Chinese medicine talks about great anger injuring the liver and great joy injuring the heart. From a Western medical perspective, loss of emotional control directly injures your lifelines, your life's blood vessels. So please, I'm asking you, work on developing a wider heart. A wider heart means wider vessels. A calmer spirit means smoother blood flow. You have worked hard your whole life. At this stage, you need to get really clear on one thing. All those annoying things out there in the world, the news, the politics, the little everyday frustrations with family, none of them are more precious than your own body. So from now on, when something comes on the television that makes you angry, don't say another word. Just pick up the remote and change the channel. Go watch something beautiful. Listen to some old music you love. If your spouse starts getting heated or a younger family member upsets you, just step back, take a physical step back, take a few deep breaths, and do a quick calculation in your head. You ask yourself, if I get sick from this, if I end up in a bed because of this, who suffers? I do. It's not worth it. Opening up your heart and letting go of frustrations. This isn't about swallowing your pride and being a pushover. This is actually about building the strongest, most effective firewall you can around your brain's blood vessels. Its protective power is something you could never buy with any amount of money or any expensive blood pressure medication. The fifth deadly habit, playing doctor and stopping your meds causing lethal rebound. The fifth bad habit is stopping your medication based on how you feel, taking it sporadically and causing a deadly rebound effect. In medicine, we call this rebound hypertension. This happens so often. A patient checks their blood pressure every morning. One day they look at the machine. Oh wow, today my systolic is only 120. Diastolic 80, perfect. My high blood pressure is cured, rooted out. Plus, they've heard random people outside saying that Western medicine damages your liver and kidneys, that if you take too much blood pressure medication, you'll end up needing dialysis down the road. So they think to themselves, since my pressure is good today, I'll just skip the pill today, give my kidneys a rest. If I feel dizzy later or if my neck feels tight, I'll quickly take one then to catch up, my friends. If this is you, if this is your family member, and you're still maintaining this mindset of stopping your meds when your pressure is normal and restarting when you feel dizzy, you must change this immediately because you are not protecting your kidneys. You are taking the very last safety wire holding up your brain's blood vessels and cutting it with your own hands from the perspective of a cardiologist or a neurologist. Blood pressure medication and cholesterol medication are absolutely not like cold medicine. You take cold medicine when you have symptoms and you can stop when the symptoms are gone. But medication for the three highs, blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, these are control medications. They are managing a chronic condition. If you look at a normal reading and decide to stop your medication, something absolutely terrifying happens. Over the next 2 to 3 days after stopping, your blood pressure, which was being held down by the medication, acts like a spring that's been kept in check, compressed for a long time. It rebounds violently. It doesn't just go back to its old level. Because of this rebound effect, your blood pressure can suddenly, without warning, rocket up, spike past 200, even 220. Now, imagine this super high pressure tsunami of blood slamming into your brain. Those already fragile, brittle vessels have zero time to buffer, zero time to adjust. They just burst, boom, blood gushes out, directly compressing nerve cells. In the emergency room, we see so many cases of sudden massive brain bleeds in people who stopped their medication just 2 or 3 days earlier. Family members are outside wailing in grief, saying, but just a few days ago, his blood pressure readings were perfectly normal. How could he suddenly have a stroke? The answer is because he secretly stopped his medication on his own. So please remember this rule. You absolutely cannot decide to take or not take your medication based on how you feel. If you feel uncomfortable or if you think your numbers are too low, your only course of action is to bring your blood pressure log to your doctor's appointment. Let your doctor, the professional, adjust your dose or even reduce your medication. Only your doctor has the right to change your prescription. Let me ask you, is being afraid of dialysis worth ending up with a stroke, paralyzed on one side, bedridden for the rest of your life? Do the math on that trade off. Does it ever add up? But wait, don't panic. Here's how to reboot your vessels. Okay, I know I just threw a lot of information at you. The 5 deadly stroke provoking habits, the sudden morning wake up, heavy salt consumption, not drinking enough water and having thick blood, emotional bombs, and stopping your medication on your own. I've laid them all out for you. And maybe some of you listening are feeling a little panicked right now. You're thinking, oh no, I think I do all of these. Are my blood vessels about to fail? Is a stroke just inevitable for me? Please, everyone, don't panic. My goal in telling you all this is absolutely not to scare you. It's to help you identify problems early so you can solve them. Coming up, I'm going to teach you a 3-part method to help your brain's blood vessels rejuvenate, to regain some of that youthful vitality. If you stick with these consistently, you can absolutely help your vessels regain vitality. Method number 1, the hands and feet pump exercise to help open up microcirculation in your extremities. Remember, clots love to form where blood flows slowly. When you're sitting on the couch watching television for a long time, blood can pool and stagnate easily. So here's a simple trick you can do while you watch. Lift your feet up slightly. First, point your toes forcefully back toward your body, pulling them up, feeling the muscles in your calves stretch and tighten. Hold for 2 seconds, then point your toes forcefully down, away from your body, pointing toward the floor, feeling the stretch in the front of your shins. Do this motion up and down 30 times. At the same time, raise your hands and make tight fists. Squeeze hard enough that your nails press into your palms, and then instantly and forcefully open your fingers as wide as they'll go. This muscle pumping action forcing uses the contraction of your muscles to squeeze the blood that's stagnant in your hands and feet, pushing it back toward your heart like a pump so it can be refreshed and sent back up to your brain. It is extremely effective at preventing clots from forming. Method number 2, the belly breath pressure drop to help calm your sympathetic nervous system. What do you do when your emotions spike, when your blood pressure starts to rise? Use your breath deep. Slow breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part of your body responsible for relaxation. Try this twice a day, morning and evening. Sit comfortably in a chair or lie down. Place your hands gently on your belly, right around your belly button. Close your eyes. Breathe in slowly and deeply through your nose. Feel the air going all the way down. Feel your belly push your hands up like a balloon inflating. Then purse your lips, making a small round opening like you're blowing through a straw. And exhale extremely slowly, feeling your belly fall. Aim to do only about 5 or 6 of these deep breaths per minute and continue for about 5 minutes total. You will be amazed at how your heart rate settles down, how the tightness in your neck eases, and you can often actually see the numbers drop on a blood pressure monitor. This is giving your blood vessels the most ultimate relaxation spa treatment. Method number 3, protect your neck like your life depends on it. Because your life supply lines run through it, on each side of your neck you have two large arteries called the carotid arteries. They are the sole supply highway delivering blood to your brain, and they are surprisingly exposed with no protection. You need to do two things first: in the winter when you go out, or in the summer when you walk into an air condition building, always put a scarf or a neck gaiter around your neck. Do not ever let those carotid arteries get hit by cold wind and go into spasm. Second, and this is absolutely the most critical point, never ever go to some unlicensed massage place and let someone aggressively push on your neck, twist it, or crack it, the kind where they put their hands around your throat and yank to hear that cracking sound. If you have a small silent plaque sitting inside that carotid artery, that kind of forceful pushing can squeeze it, break it loose. That debris will shoot up to your brain in about 2 seconds and cause an immediate catastrophic stroke. Protect your neck. Only gentle heat, absolutely no aggressive twisting or pressing. All right, my friends, that's all for today's content. It's been a lot of information, so to help prevent you from forgetting it all as soon as this video ends, let's do a quick recap of the key points together. First point, you need to recognize the true nature of a stroke. A stroke is absolutely not some sudden punishment or accident from the universe. It is the final, desperate, catastrophic signal of failing from your blood vessels after years and years of accumulated abuse. Whether it's a clot completely blocking a narrowed vessel, causing a brain infarction, or a brittle vessel unable to withstand high pressure bursting and causing a brain bleed, this is all the result of daily bad habits accumulating over time, leading to aging and damage. Second point, the 5 deadly lifestyle habits that can easily trigger a stroke and that you must change immediately. Number 1, sudden morning wake. Up and exposure to cold, waking up and sitting up too quickly, or exposing your neck to the cold without protection triggers the extremely dangerous devil's morning surge, causing your blood pressure to spike instantly, easily rupturing vessels. Number 2, heavy salt consumption and regularly drinking the leftover sauce and broth. High concentrations of sodium trapped fluid in your vessels, over-inflating your blood pressure like an over-inflated tire, constantly on the verge of exploding. Number 3, avoiding water because you're afraid of going to the bathroom. This forcibly thickens your clear blood into thick, sticky black sesame paste. Once blood flow slows down and stagnates, it becomes extremely easy for deadly clots to form. Number 4, emotional bombs, big ups and downs. Intense anger, deep grief, or wild excitement triggers a sympathetic nervous system storm, causing violent extreme constriction and spasm of all your blood vessels, instantly crushing the unstable plaques inside. Number 5, stopping your medication based on how you feel. This is the most deadly. Seeing normal numbers and secretly stopping your blood pressure medication is like personally cutting away the support beams holding up your blood vessels. Within 2 or 3 days, it triggers an extremely violent rebound spike, sending your blood pressure over 200 without warning. Third point, practice these 3-vessel reboot life saving techniques daily. Do the hands and feet pump exercise on the couch, point your toes up and down repeatedly, make tight fists with your hands and then instantly open them wide. This uses muscle contraction to squeeze the stagnant blood from your extremities back towards your heart like a pump, preventing clots. Practice belly breathing. Morning and evening, place your hands on your belly, breathe in deeply, exhale slowly. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, miraculously calming your heart and smoothly lowering your blood pressure. Protect your neck like your life depends on it. When you go out, make sure to wear a scarf to protect against cold wind. And most critically, never ever go to someone for aggressive neck massage or twisting to avoid dislodging any plaque in your carotid arteries, sending it straight to your brain. Fourth point, a final reminder you must always keep in mind. True health never comes from blindly praying to gods or Buddhas or from eating some expensive, unproven supplements from who knows where. It is found in your daily self-discipline. It's in that extra glass of warm water you decide to drink every day. It's in being ruthless and pouring that leftover sauce down the sink. It's in the discipline of slowing down in the morning. And with medication, you can never be your own doctor if you feel uncomfortable. You must bring your log to your doctor and let them make the adjustments. Taking care of ourselves, staying healthy, avoiding paralysis and breathing tubes, not being a burden on our children, not adding a burden to their lives. This is the greatest, most valuable wealth we can ever leave for our kids. If you found today's content useful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with all your friends and loved ones, especially the ones who are still mixing meat juice into their rice every day and the ones who keep forgetting to drink water. Let's get this life-saving health information out to more people. I wish you all clear minds and steady steps. I'll see you in the next video.